Morning everybody. I've decided today to video my risotto so you can all see how I make it. And this is the first time I've made this risotto. I'm just cleaning all the kitchen worktop. The ingredients you're going to need are 1 yellow pepper, 1 red pepper, 2 courgettes, 5 tablespoons of garlic infused oil, 300 ml of passata, 900 ml of gluten-free or normal vegetable stock, 1.5 teaspoons of white wine vinegar, 240 grams of dried risotto rice, 70 grams of extra mature cheddar, and a small handful of chopped chives. So the first thing I did was preheat the oven to gas mark 7 or 200 degrees. And then I got chopping my courgettes and my peppers. So I've chopped my peppers into thin strips. As you can see, I've got 2 peppers, 1 yellow, 1 green. It doesn't really matter which colour you use. The recipe does state 1 yellow, 1 red, but I didn't have a red pepper, so I just used a green one. And then I spread all the sections out on a tray, and then I'm doing the same with the courgettes, cutting them into about 1 centimetre thick slices, and then spread them out as evenly as you possibly can on a roasting tray. And then what I forgot to do until about halfway through was put some of the oil, so the garlic infused oil, you want to pour a little bit of that on the top of the vegetables to help them to cook and not burn, which I forgot to do that to start with, but it didn't make much difference. And you want to cook them in the oven for about 25 minutes until they're nice and sort of starting to crisp on the edges. Whilst you're doing that, you want to grate the cheese, pre-grate the cheese, extra mature cheddar. I found that this wasn't quite enough cheese, so I also got the stock ready, 900 ml of stock, and last tiny little bit that I had left of the garlic infused oil, and topped it up with the other oil that I had. Then I got my passata ready. I used a tiny little bit more than I should have of the passata. It says 300 ml, but I think I used about 400. Poured in my 1.5 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, and then added my stock, 900 ml of vegetable stock. And that what you want to do is give it a good stir and bring it to the boil, basically. So give it a good stir, leave it for a few minutes, bring it to the boil. In the meantime, got my dried risotto rice ready, weighed it all out, 240 grams. There we are, it's nice and bubbling there. And once it's hot and bubbling, then you turn it down to a simmer and add all of your risotto rice in at once. Stir it in. And then you pop the lid on and leave it to simmer for around 15 minutes. I couldn't resist but stir it a few times, as I do with rice anyway, even though you're supposed to just leave rice to cook, I think. But I can't help myself. After 15 minutes, it started to thicken and the risotto rice started to cook. Then what you want to do is add in all your roasted vegetables. Some of them are a little bit stubborn to get off the tray. So that's all the peppers in. Now for the courgettes. Give all that a good stir. And you leave it again for a little bit to simmer. I didn't read the recipe quite properly. What you're supposed to do here is add your cheese in next, and the chives are supposed to be to sprinkle on once you're serving the risotto. What I did was mixed it in. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but you couldn't really taste it. And then I've added my cheese and give it all a really good mix. think I should have left the risotto rice to cook for a little bit longer because it was a little bit thick, but I also think it doesn't help that I added a little bit too much passata. So serving up the risotto. Looks tasty. It looks more like risotto soup rather than risotto, but it came out quite well. Well, risotto done, and it was a partial success. I would say none of us loved it. Me and Simon tolerated it. we kind of liked it, but there wasn't a lot of flavour at all to it, to be honest. So if I did it again, I'd definitely put more rice in it and more flavour in it, because it didn't really taste of much at all unless you got a bit of pepper. That was it. And the girls didn't like it really. Rebecca ate a lot more than Hannah. Hannah didn't really eat any of it. So that was the end of that. So if you want to try and make it yourself, I'll link the recipe down below in the description. But please add some more flavour. So thanks for watching this little clip, and I'll see you soon.